for you, my partner, listen, you don't know. Don't be a groupie, keep it moving, shout it, you don't know. Hey, I ain't tripping, pimp, the truth is really, you don't know. Yeah, you know they call me T.I., but you don't know. You be hating and I see why, cause you don't know.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to TAN TV, the African American Network. We have a local feel with a global reach. And you're about to watch Out of Bounds with myself, T-Rex, and my two co-hosts. Well, when they show up, I introduce them. Today, we're going to talk about, hey, that's Big Henry. What's up, Henry? How you doing?
I'm good, my brother. How you doing? A little chilly down here in
Just fine.
Great volunteer state of Tennessee, man.
Ooh, man. I'm out here in Southern Cal. It's about 80, 85. It's nice, man. It's nice. It's nice. Tank top, California weather. And there goes Mr. Lionel.
What's going on, good people? Good day.
What's up?
How you doing, Henry? Hey, Terry.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
We ready to get this thing started?
Let's get it started. Start off, people, with a little bit of today. Earlier, it's about young men health. But first, we're going to talk about a little gun violence, since both of my fraternity brothers are in Tennessee, and they both had little incidents. So let's get with that, because I'm sure that's both of their hearts and their minds. So, what do you think? What kind of gun violence? How are we going to get control of this gun violence, fellas?
Let me open up first. In Nashville, the two guys that got expelled from our state legislature, it was kind of the youth generation. It's a new movement. It's a new thing coming. It's some real stuff happening. But you know what threw me off? One of the guys went into the state legislature with a baby coffin. Well, they wouldn't let him in, but he approached the chambers with a baby coffin in his hand, holding it. And that was his way of trying to get their attention. And this is where we are. This is where we are. The legislature don't want to address it. And the thing about it is really a bad situation here. So they're going to have what you call a special session. The governor has to call them into special session after they dismiss after the passing of the budgets and things like that, and then come back to a special session to try to change some legislative laws. So that was what I found interesting right now.
Okay. Anything from you, Henry?
Oh, absolutely, man. I'm gonna go with it from just a tad bit different perspective than my good brother Duck went in at. Gun violence is actually worse in the red states. It's not even close, man. Listening to the Southerners' right talk about violence in America, you'd think New York City was as dangerous as Ukraine or the Eastern Front. But in October, Florida's Republican governor Ron Santos proclaimed crime in New York City was out of control and blamed it on George Soros. But man, you look at the things that are going on here in Tennessee and in Memphis. It's almost like how drugs and guns are just totally out of control, man. When back in the day, I wrote a paper, and it was a poem about drugs coming into America and how it's out of control. And I think I said something to the effect like Mary Jane comes into the city driving the governor quite insane, but people still smoke it just the same. So, but you look at in Memphis alone, every corner there's a drugstore, there's a liquor store. I mean, there's drugs just totally rampant, and it's mostly in the Black community. You know what I'm saying? So now you don't have to have a gun permit in Tennessee. You can free carry, you can open carry, and man, it's out of control. I know one of my fraternity brothers that's he makes guns, and he's got a gun safe and everything. He's got AKs, he's got Uzis, he's got all kinds of stuff. So I've heard people say guns are not the problem, it's the people that's the problem. But my point is, what is the point of having an Uzi? What is the point of having an AK? I mean, you don't hunt with it. You don't, I mean, what, okay, they say, I'm preparing for Armageddon, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But man, so now the guns are in the streets. So what does the police have to have? The police have to have something equal to, or better, or bigger than what they have.
I agree.
So
I
it's
agree.
it's a chain reaction, man. It really is. And until someone bans it, I don't know if it's ever going to be able to get in control. I know back in the 60s, guns was open and anybody could do it and have whatever. The Black Panthers came in with the AKs, the Uzis, and all of that. Then somebody said, "Oh, whoa, let's stop this. We got to put a control on it. We got to manage this." So that's when that situation, you saw the cease on those type of guns being in the system. But right now, man, it's just like the movie Juice. Who's got the biggest power? Who's got the biggest gun has got the power. And that's what these young kids are saying, and they want to go out and prove it. You got gangs, Crips, Bloods, the vice lords, and man, then you got the Hispanic groups as well, and man, it's a free fall. They're fighting for what? A piece of land or a color, brother. It's man,
and nothing, and neither one of them belong to them.
No, sir.
They own nothing.
No, sir.
They don't own nothing. Well, the reason why I wanted y'all to talk about gun violence is because we're talking about young men's health. And believe it or not, from the research I was looking at, gun violence is not only killing young Black men, but it's killing young people, period, as in the church, in the school shootings and so forth for Sean. And I just want people to understand that, everybody says that guns don't kill people. People do. But if they didn't have a gun, then the people couldn't kill them. And the hardware, the AKs and the Uzis and the MAC-10s and all that kind of stuff, they go through houses. A 9mm is a good gun for a home invasion. And that's what you really should be preparing for. You're supposed to protect yourself. 45, if you miss with a 45, it may go through, maybe not back there, but out here in California, our walls aren't brick. So, it's stucco and all that other crazy stuff. It might go through 3, 4, 5 houses before it stops, unless it doesn't hit anything solid. So you could be shooting and miss, or just cleaning your gun and misfire, and you can kill 3 people 2 doors down. You never know. So I think it's a big thing. And I agree with what you said, Duck, and what Henry said about the violence with the guns. I think it's a fear, and we need to get it under control. I don't really think it's going to happen, anytime soon, because powers that are in, unfortunately, I have to say this, the Caucasian men do not want to have those hard guns off the street because they are afraid, just like that guy in Kansas City, of young Black men and Latino men coming up to their house and they just shooting for no apparent reason. And that's one of the biggest causes of young men dying. It just really is. It's one of the biggest costs of young men dying.
But also, Terry, too, man. And please forgive me for cutting you off there, man.
Go ahead.
TV is one of the biggest culprits, also, my brother.
Yes.
You look at TV. The first thing they're gonna see, you got a guy got a gun and he gonna turn it and put it sideways. Yeah. And how you gonna hit what you're trying to shoot? You that got the gun turned sideways. You just out there firing. I think about the movie that Queen Latifah was in, and I can't think of the name of the movie, but it was about a bunch of young ladies that was working in a territorial deal, and they were bank robbers. someone tried that same deal, that same act here in Memphis and got away, but they did rob the bank in the same manner, but they did get caught. So man, TV was really just crazy. I think it was set it off as and they relived it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just something that needs to be monitored to the television and aspect of it as well.
Television does a lot of things. Most of the time it's supposed to be entertaining, but it's not. But since let's get off gun violence, because we can stay on that all day. Because I believe we all three on the same point. As I would say at least 60% of the American population, doesn't matter what color or sex. I think we all 60% of us agree it shouldn't be here, but the 40% is the ones that's controlling it.
Yes, sir.
What do y'all think about the culture that we live in? I'm going to jump straight to like social medias. You hear a lot about with the gun violence. You hear that kids are being bullied and all that. With that being said, do you think one of the biggest things that they were talking about also was anxiety and depression? So I'm asking you guys, do you think that anxiety and depression is part of the bullying that's making some of these kids, like the young lady in Memphis? Duck in Nashville that went to that school.
Yeah.
Do you think of those are the reasons that's why we have this is the bullying off of social media and in schools?
Well, social media is the extreme or the mechanism that they're saying, look at me now. Mm-hmm. So I think they're driving for attention. So if someone is trying to get noticed or trying to get the 15 minutes of fame right now, right quick, that's the best way. They're going live with this. People are live streaming when it comes down to the bullying, the challenges that kids are going through. And I've heard it over and over again. Kids today, and I'm saying kids from, say, 9 years old to 16, that's a different world that we grew up in. It's a different world. So now we're looking at also the economics. We're looking at the backgrounds. We're looking at the challenges of not just the lock-key kids, but we're also hoping that these kids are not being manufactured through the TVs. Henry, you just made a great point.
Right.
The advertisement, the name. Everybody wants to be the next big exterminator. Everybody wants to be the big exterminator. Everybody wants to now be. I forgot about that video game. I was trying to look it up that they were playing, and
Halo.
Who? What's the name of it?
It's Halo and
Call of Duty
and some
Call
other
of Duty. Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Call of Duty. And with you, Terry, being a military man, you understand. You went through training. What age? These kids are going through training now, playing. And that's why we have to get them away from the videos, the games, and get them back outside and play soccer, play baseball, play some sports, just swimming. So, let's hope for the best that we can kind of change the direction of what these kids are doing right now.
Henry?
Yes, sir. I'm a touch home a little bit, man. I worked crazy hours, and when my children were coming up, they would say, "Man, Dad, you're the most difficult person in the world to deal with. Joe Blow or Ronnie's got a TV in his room." I said, "No, you're not gonna have a TV in your room, bro, because that takes away from family time." And my wife was the same way. When we come in, we're going to sit down, we're going to have dinner, we're going to talk about your day and so forth. But now the TV or the game that they're playing, the video games or social media is actually raising the kids, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because they are actually on social media, TikTok, Facebook, all of that, Snapchat, all day long. You know what I'm saying? And it takes it's controlling. It's controlling their lives, man. I know you got to take a station break, my brother. If you want to go ahead and we'll come right back. So
I appreciate that. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to TAN TV, the African American Network. We have a local feel with a global reach, and you're watching Out of Bounds with me and the crew. All right, Henry, go ahead and finish.
Okay, yes, sir. But like I was saying, the TV or the game is what's actually raising the kids, and the parents. A lot of the parents are letting them do that. You know, okay, I'm gonna give you this, so you ain't in my hair right now. You know what I'm saying? Raising a family is hard, man. You know, like granted, when I was coming up, you know, we sat on the front porch and played your car, my car. That's my car. That's your car. You know, and dude, we had fun at it. Play hide and seek, basketball, football, baseball, just having a good time, getting out, running around, playing, exercising, and so forth. But like you say right now, dude, Call of Duty, all these other games. And brother, you can play not only Call of Duty in Memphis and play someone out in California. You know what I'm saying? Put your little headsets on and go ahead and do what you're doing. And that is crazy. Like Duck said, you know, man, that has an effect on a person. So yeah, we got a little joystick and we're playing it, we're shooting this. Okay, when do I put the real gun in my hand and try to act it out and do that? You know what I'm saying?
I think it desensitizes young people on death. You know, that's what one part that they was talking about in anxiety. I think that's what it is. But I want to say hello to Vance, Mr. Bradford. How you doing? High school friend and a co-owner of TAN TV, the African American Network. And I just want to touch on another topic. What do you guys? Back to young men's health. Do we talk to our young people? I think it was either Henry or you, Duck, that brought up on every corner there's a liquor store or something like that. Liquor and alcohol and drugs are running rampant, not just through the Black community, but as recently as through the white community with the opioids and all the problems that we're having with young people. Is it because of the manufacturing, or do you think it's just the cost of bad business and people just letting it go? I don't know what could cause making it cool, I should say, making it all right to do it. What do you guys think about that?
Well, let me say this about you have peer pressure on the kids today dealing with their health issues. And one thing about the peer pressure, whether or not they're going through a depression or they're thinking suicidal, and once they end up getting into trying to get into this area of getting high, or this feeling of getting high, they're not concerned about their health. They're concerned about trying to be known, be inclusive. They want to be included in what's going on. They want to be the it child. But I tell you, they're not really concerned about their health, knowing that the opiates and heaven forbid that I haven't been around kids that have OD'd. My son has a program in the school systems that he's going to, and he's doing reading. So we already been told that we have illiterate kids here in Tennessee. I don't know about California. I don't know about Texas, but we have illiterate kids that can't read in third grade here. So we're trying to manufacture that and get them to have more self-control, some self-esteem. So change the health into trying to get your mind right so you don't have physical health issues later.
That is true.
That is very true. That is very true, man. And that's just your mental health and stability is amazing. And I think one of the points that you made key is peer pressure, because now, and I don't understand it because it is beyond me. The new drug or whatever that people are using with fentanyl, or I don't know if they lacing stuff with fentanyl, where they do the drugs and they will die. you know.
Yes.
But if you can get to them soon enough, you can give them a shot of something, whatever it's called, and it brings it back alive. And you know, man, I got the ultimate experience. I just died, and I'm back alive. You know,
I don't know about all that.
but it's crazy, you know. And
It
someone
is.
out there in the land there may be understanding, can text us in and give me the correct wording that I used or what that case is. But man, it is absolutely ridiculous. But then you don't know what that stuff has an effect on you as of when you get in your earlier or your later ages, man. Just like playing football, you know, a guy told me, he said, man, you want to get stronger faster, do this. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing, but man, you know, when I sit at the table and I said, I want to eat my food alone by myself, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, they sat there and looked at me when I got up and turned the table over and sat back down and started eating. They got away. I said, man, I'm going to the gym and lift. I said, okay, roid rage. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, I would jump on it because you said something real good. You said, you know, that they be practicing that. I want to mention one thing about what you was talking about, Henry, is the Tuskegee experiment, where black men were given syphilis and wasn't treated so they could see the symptoms. And a lot of people say that ain't true. They gave them flu shots or whatever. But history shows, if you read the correct books, that they did intend to get them syphilis, and they wanted to see what it was. And for the men that wasn't treated, they sent that stuff. You know, I don't know if you know what syphilis really does. It's a disease that can hide and come out, and it's transmittable. So I was just wondering, with some of them social experiments that was done on minorities back in the day, is affecting some of the minority children of today. You know, and that would probably go down from, I would say, from the 40s all the way down probably to the late teens, because we're having a lot of kids with a lot of issues, mental issues, and you can't say it's all a one race problem or color problem, because I think with unfortunately, with all the different people having sex with different people of different races, you know, stuff is still being genetically passed down to anybody. So that's important. And also, I want to throw this one out so you guys can talk about this too in the next couple of minutes. Obesity. Do you know that over 20%? I'm sorry, 20 years from, what is it, from 13 to 20, 40% of the children since 2018 are obese. And for everything that y'all just said, from playing video games, not going outside, playing regular games, not being active in school, sitting out of PE or taking the alternate course, those things are raising up obesity also in young people. So those are the things that I'd like y'all to liberate on right now. And anybody can jump on and talk about either of those two.
Duck, if you don't mind, I'll go first in this particular case, sir.
Okay. You're a little bigger than me, so I can't stop you.
Are you saying that I'm obese, sir?
Well, I'm going to let the numbers fall as they may. Go ahead on, my brother.
Okay, I'm going to bow down deference to you, my brother. But I want to touch on a little bit before I'll lead up to everything we just said, Terry. How diabolical, and I'm going to use the word diabolical, the Tuskegee experiment was. You know, even look at AIDS, man. You know, AIDS didn't started from no green monkey in Africa. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
You know, for a person to be able to spray a spray on a doorknob, and 20 years later, if you go and touch that doorknob, you can be killed. There's all kind of chemicals, man, that chemical warfare is dangerous, man. You know, and then
that is true.
When it gets into the wrong hands, my brother, it's ugly. But you know, on your point on about obesity is spot on, man, because the kids don't have the activity. Doug made a point on it about the latchkey kids coming in, going straight to
Right.
the TV, going straight to the computer and doing stuff, not getting outside, ripping and running and playing. You know, do your homework. Man, we couldn't go outside until we did our homework. But man, we went outside, but we had to be back in before the street light came on. But we played,
True,
man.
true.
We played, we ran, we did all of that, you know. And one other thing too, and I want to throw in right quick, not only about mental health but physical health as well. It's important.
Yes.
It's important to take vitamins, man, especially when you get
Yes.
my age or whatever. You're in your 30s or 40s. Your testosterone in the male tends to decline and so forth. But man, take vitamins, a good multivitamins. And some of the signs of vitamin deficiencies are brittle, weak hair, nails, fatigue and low motivation, thinning hair, feeling run down, having brain fog and feeling sluggish, feeling weak, muscle issues, frequent headaches, regular feeling cold, skin tissues like dryness and so forth. Those are just some of the early symptoms of vitamin deficiencies. I don't mean to hog the time, but my brother Doug, go ahead, sir.
Well, you know, it's good to understand a couple of things. You know, it's not just the kids that's not able to come outside. They don't have the tools to understand. We don't have community centers like we used to. Everything costs now for $1. So I live in the inner city, but I don't live in the country. In the country, you could get out and run with the dogs and run with the horses and cows and go while you're doing your chores. So in the city, you just run when you heard somebody shooting at somebody else. And that's what we did. Henry, you said y'all had to do homework. You know, we always came home and told them, I did homework at school because I didn't want to be smarter than the next kid in class. So we wanted to play down, dumb it down, they call it now. We want to dumb it down then. Now we don't have to dumb it down. The kids now are excelling, but I see the same thing to where that's a mindset game. We are sick. We're looking at, and I have a stat here, 15 to 19 motor vehicles are killing people.
True.
You know, those driving, whether speed kills or just being able to say, you know, let's race. But they're stealing cars. Kids are stealing cars. They carjacking. They got the guns, carjacking somebody else. So things like that are killing people. And is it because they have depression, suicidal? Are they drinking the alcohol? Because we talked about the fentanyl and opioids and the drugs, but we also got kids that's just drinking. They just drinking. They just drinking.
Just to be doing it, just to get drunk.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. But you know, how can we get the kids, or how can we get males into healthy diets, exercise? How can we do that?
Well, that's a good question with the way the school system is changing, by letting them opt out of PE and things like that, and plus the major thing you said was the community centers. I mean, we used to all have like the YMCA. In my incidents, I grew up. You know, my dad was in the military, so we had the youth centers and we had the facilities that the military had for their soldiers. So I can we were a little different, but I think that's instead of spending all this money on technology, which is good, but it's also bad. We need to put more money on the emphasis of for health for our young people, not just the men, but for the young ladies also. But since I brought the young ladies in this thing, I'm going to say this. Then I'm gonna do a quick station break a little earlier. Then we'll talk about this. Then we'll get off. Thanks for tuning in to TAN TV, the African American Network. We have a local feel with global reach, and you watching Out of Bounds with T-Rex and the crew. I want to ask you guys a good question, because this is part of the psych that's going on through the adult community. What do you think about letting children claim their own gender identity at an early age? My question is, I'm not gonna call out any celebrities because this is not a call out. I just want to know why the system, not the parents,
No go.
you know, but it's part of the thing. Why is the system allowing these people to let their children decide that what they want to be? I mean, we don't have to go biblical or we don't have to go scientific. It's the problem why I'm bringing it up is it's mental health, and it's part of the health system for our young people. And you have someone that a parent or someone else, there's not enough little boys out there to tell you the truth that the mom wanted the little girl so bad that she might have dressed him up every now and then as a little girl. I get that, but to let him think that he's a girl, and he's not even 12 or 13, not even in going through puberty. I don't get it. And the same thing goes for girls. So with that being said, if you don't want to touch on it, don't. If you do, just say something, and we'll move on to the last and final object of this thing is trying to fix it.
Terry, my nickname is Duck. And if it quacks like a duck, swims like a duck,
it's a duck.
Don't call me fish. I'm a duck. I'm a duck.
All right.
I'm like Laura McKinnon. No. That's something I will not be able to understand at all, but I can appreciate the freedom to at least discuss it. And that's where we get into the suicidals, the depressions,
that's
and
where I was
the mental
going.
health issues about somebody saying, you won't let me be. And I can address that with some spirituals, some scriptures, and some identity, but this is not the platform for that. But I will say this: when a parent don't want a parent, it's their responsibility. It's back on the parent. So if government needs to hold anybody accountable, not the child, but the parents. And I think that's what we need to address: the parents and their understanding. Freedom stops when you get out of my house. You can be free when you get out of my house.
That goes back to the first things that we talked about was anxieties. I mean, could you imagine being a kid and you're confused and not getting help, which is the major thing. Let's just cut that out. The major thing I believe that's going on with young people is the same thing that went on with us when we were young. We thought we were invincible. We didn't think we had problems. And it's a big stigma especially in the Black culture, not to go get mental health advice. And I would like to put that to rest.
I got one thing to say, if you don't mind, and before you put it to rest.
Go ahead.
There's a little thing on TikTok where this little boy, he's probably 3 years old, and he's walking around in a wife beater t-shirt, and he's dropping the B word to his mom. He's calling his mom the B word, and she's laughing, and she thinks it's funny. Oh, that's so cute. You know what I'm saying? So she thinks it's cute now, but 2 years from now, she's not going to be able to do anything about that little boy. When he's in the first grade, he's still going to have that activity, and the school is going to determine, oh, this boy needs to be on Ritalin. He needs to be calmed down.
Right.
So now he's going to be in the system. So they're going to leave him in the system until he times out. So when he get out of high school, when he get in the streets, what does he know? The system, and he's always been the bully. Now he can't read, he can't write. So now he resorts to a life of crime that we have put on him. And when he goes to jail, he's in a system again, and he's there for life 9 times out of 10 because he has nothing to fall back on. And that is so sad, man. We don't have grandmas. We don't have big mamas no more. We got babies having babies and trying to raise babies, and they don't know how to do it.
That is true.
They want to go to the club and party. The daddy wants to go to the club and party. The mama wants to be in the club and party. And the little kid is at the house by herself or with the neighbor, doing whatever, smoking weed, doing whatever around the child.
Mhm.
And that's all he knows, man. And that is so crazy, brother. And man, we just gotta, dude, I could go on and forever and ever on this type stuff here, man. But I know we're running over on our time, my brother. So
That's okay. That's okay. I just want everybody to understand that it's not for the school or someone else outside the family to notice these things. I think we need to, most importantly, if it's your house or your family, for sure, you should be the one to say this instead of just saying, oh, little Johnny's going through a phase, a little Mary, she'll step out of it in a minute. I just believe 100% that you should be more active in your children's life. And if you see something at a young age, you should get it addressed then instead of saying, oh, he'll grow out of it, or don't worry about it, she'll grow out of it. But we need to get professional help. And I understand it's expensive, you know. Then again, like I said, I'm blessed. I had, when my children were little, I was still active duty, and we had free medical and free mental and free dental and all those things. And I know it's expensive, but there's nothing more costly and more important in your life than your children. And I want to say this to every parent. If you invest in your child, you invested in the future, because
right.
the children are the future of this country. And if we don't take care of them, by the time our generation is gone and this new generation is up, we don't even know. I mean, you talk about Generation X and whatever the next one's in between. Everybody's got issues, but they seem to get worse as we continue. The drugs is more common. I think Henry brought up fentanyl, how they're lacing it with stuff. And that's going to the junior high and some elementary schools. So we have to find out why, just to save the children and young, especially young men, because young men are the highest percentage of the culprits. We'll just say culprits, for a better word, that are involved in this kind of stuff.
But Terry, don't get it twisted too, man. We did stuff too as kids coming up, you know. But we were very, very respectful. I do remember, because when we walking down the street, I mean, we could be talking loud, dropping all kind of words and stuff. But when we saw an old person sitting outside, man, we got quiet, walked by the house. How you doing, Miss Harris? How you doing, Miss Johnson? As soon as we were by the house, we started back doing what we were doing. You know what I'm saying? But now it's not like that, you know. What's up, OG? You know, bruh, pull your pants up. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to look at your underwear. You know what
I don't
I'm
mean to cut you off, Dr. Henry, but you know, we had something that was back there that they don't have today, because they can call the police on you. We had what was called a butt whooping.
Oh, yes, sir.
You know,
yes, sir.
We had that butt whooping. And Miss Mabel on that porch, she didn't have to say nothing to us, because she was calling your mama or daddy on that line telling me, hey, little Terry's out here acting a fool. He's doing all this by my house. And we even had some people in the neighborhood that come out there and whoop your butt and take you home.
That's right.
Just like the crime thing back then. We was talking about guns and all that. We had Mr. Police Officer that we knew him every day because he walked the same beat all the time. I'm not saying that those are the things that should be done today. I'm just saying those are the things that kept us off that medium line. We would stay on that line for a minute, but then we saw somebody, we fall back on the good side, still fall back on the bad side. And I think the young people don't have that.
I don't want to cut you off, but here, I was just thinking. That's okay. I was just thinking, every home wasn't a good home. Right. Every home wasn't a good home. So we need to understand two things about that. We had child abuse, we had wife abuse, we had sexual abuse, we had some issues already inside of the home, whether it was from the males or the females. Same thing in education. You have teachers they attractive teachers dealing with the 13-year-old kid. That is abusive. But those are the type of people that we have in the education. You have people that's going to become what you call pedophiles, perverts. You have people that's already sick and ill and can't control themselves. So before we talk about what we did in the household or the homes, we need to understand all homes wasn't homes. And the
That
kids
is
that
true.
grew up in those environments, those kids that grew up being the victim of someone that had raped them or taken advantage of them in some ways, or gave them drugs, or smoked, or allowed them to see you smoking. You know,
Right.
those homes are still there. The drug infested homes, just like the rats that's out there now. Uh, and it comes down to how do you address that? So I'm saying we as a community still need to be conscious that we have heart disease, we have
True.
depressions, we have suicide, we have cancers, we have alcoholism, we have unintentional injuries. Because I don't know how many people actually are trying to go to work and think about how to practice safety, or getting in the car. And we had to have the seatbelt laws to put on a seatbelt, but how many people still put them on? You know, but then when they start showing you the dummies flying across on the back seat, then we start understanding. So we need that education to let people say, I can show you better than I can tell you.
Well, you said a lot of good things there, and I agree with you, Doug. But you know, education has to be listened to. Unfortunately, for these young people today, I mean, I don't mean to get personal, but I can remember back when my son was young, one of his friends OD'd, and he took it hard. I mean, he took it hard. So hard liquor and hard drugs is not part of his life. And I think sometimes that's a hard, very hard lesson to learn as a young man in high school, but it's a true lesson. And unfortunately, somebody has to die from it. And I think that's just wrong. I think that instead of taking counselors, and not just counselors, but, you know, mental health people in the schools and PE in the schools are more important than some of these classes that they have that's not keeping the people fit, not just physically, but mentally. And you got to challenge your kids. But if we're not challenging our kids, just giving them a grade to pass them by, then what kind of future are they going to have? Because technology is taking over. I mean, pretty soon there's not going to be any mechanics out there, because all the cars are going to be battery operated. You just go someplace, drop a battery, put a new one in, and drive off. And I just think that the American people are investing more into technology and making money than they are investing in our children's future. And it shouldn't. The government or whoever is in charge of this shouldn't do that. I mean, it's just wrong. I mean, they are our future. And I'm really concerned about our young people, especially the young men, because the young men, if there's no young men, then there's no children. There's no children. If there's no young ladies, there's no children. So we got to get off here in a little bit. So I'm gonna shut up and let you guys say what what's going on in your life as far as any birthdays or anything important that you like to throw out. So go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna start off, man. I don't have a birthday or anything coming up, but I do want to say to the audience, man, your health is very important. And here's probably, and I'm gonna throw one bad one in there, because you can't have a good without a bad and a bad without a good. One of the main points is, first, exercise. Get some type of exercise in on a daily or at least a 3-day week deal. Get your proper sleep. Get your proper rest, whether that's 7-8 hours or not. And try to eat healthy. Try to eat healthy. Try to stay away from the fried foods. And just eat healthy. I'm not going to say beef or pork or whatever, but do things in moderation. Alcohol under control. That's the bad one that I threw in. Do moderation. Just do it all in moderation. And once you know better, you do better. And I know a lot of things that our forefathers and parents ate, that they ate that way because that's what was given to them by
True.
massa. You know what I'm saying? And we got used to eating the chitlins, the pig feet, the chicken feet, all of that. You know what I'm saying? But just when you know better, put the fat back in the greens, you know, opposed to cooking with turkey or whatever. So just once you know better, do better. Take care of your health, man, because in the biblical days, you know, you heard people living 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 years. And now the average life of a black male is 72 years of age. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So we just gotta, once you know better, you do better. Try to do better. That's my 2 cents on, sir.
Okay, 2 cents.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Doug. He
Henry,
spent 5 cents on that. We'll just say 2 cents, but go ahead, Doug.
That was some good stuff Henry was throwing out there.
It was very good.
And to add to that, we need to make sure don't be afraid to go to the doctor. Don't be afraid to tell the truth about your health. If you got a headache and been having it for over time, you know, go have it checked out. If somebody sees something, say something. That's what I always understand. And just like from what I learned in my security class, sometimes you got to bring it. Sometimes you got to bring it. That means keep your alert. Keep your alarm on the alarm, and keep your knowledge on the knowledge. So all the black men, white men, make sure that we teach our guys how to be fellas. And to the women, make sure you teach your ladies, young girls, how to be ladies. And with that being said, I just want to say peace out till next week, brothers.
Okay, well, the producer gave us a couple seconds, so I'm gonna throw this out there. I agree with you, Duck, on exactly what you and Henry was talking about. I just hope that in the future, I mean, when I say future, I'm talking about the next couple of minutes, that parents start going out there saying something to their children to try to get their children to do right. Because without children, there's no future. I don't care what anybody say. There's no future without children. I mean, that sometimes we might think they're a pain in the butt, but they're essential in keeping this world going. And I think the world needs to slow down a little bit. I mean, I'm not talking about the technologies. I'm talking about using our resources. Slow down a little bit and put money into people, because the people are the ones who's buying your product. If there's no people, you have no product to sell. And with that being said, I just want to ask the fellas, I know we got the Clave is it in July in Tampa Bay? So I want to shout out to all the brothers going out there and be safe, especially in Tampa Bay. I'm not saying that it's a racist area. I've only been there once, so I'm not going to say, but it doesn't seem like a nice area considering what Florida's doing. And I'll leave it at that. But I want to put a shout out to all the fellas, and I want to say, hey, I want to say thank you to Mr. Dukes that came on last week. He did an outstanding job. And I also want to say that for all the brothers out there, you know, I don't care what fraternity you in or any kind of organization, but I'm just saying for the brothers. Now, that doesn't mean what color you are. That just means that you're a man. Be a man, you know. Treat your son and your daughters how to be respectful so that they can live a life. I mean, I know white parents don't have to give their kids the talk about being pulled over by police. But when you look at what's going on today, that rap music, I would say what 80% of is bought by white youth. So they need to get their kids under control, because pretty soon they're gonna be just like our kids. You got to have that talk, and that talk, is really rough. I heard the president talk about the talk, and it's hard to have, but you got to have that for your son. I don't care if you live in a good neighborhood or in the bad neighborhood or in the country. You still got to have that talk, because police officers are taught to be in control. And unfortunately for them being in control, that means they want to dominate you. And some of these kids don't want to be dominated. So go ahead, Henry. Before I say the last words.
And Doug made a real good point, man. He made it question about or the statement, and Doug, you have to correct me if I'm wrong. You made something about the fathers and the son, and then the mother and the daughter, and that took me back, man, to the old music, like the OJs. They had family reunion, and I may
Yeah,
not have the words correct, where he said, "Then there's the son." The sons are most like the imitators of their fathers. So we're back now to
that's
the
true.
father. And if the father's guiding in the right way, the son will definitely is going to be all right. Then you have the daughter watching, they're watching the mother, you know, and because sooner or later she's going to be a mother, and she's imitating what our mother does. That's what the family does, and what the family reunion is about. I know the movie Family Reunion with Cicely Tyson sitting on the porch educating the young kids about how to act and how to be, man. It's amazing. It's a vicious cycle, you know. And on a not so positive note, there, I heard a person say one time that if you're in a poor community, 9 times out of 10, you're going to receive a poor education. If you receive a poor education, you're going to receive a poor job. And if you receive a poor job, you're going to be in a poor state. But there's a percent that we got to do is help pull that person out of that situation.
Right.
And that's our job, man, is to reach back and help educate, help see. You see a young man that's not on the right path. Yeah, he may be, you may say, man, this dude, he going to have to hit it. But man, until you make strides to help that young man, to educate that young man on what it takes to be a successful citizen in the United States of America, and take care of his body where he can take care of his family and be a productive citizen, we're fighting a losing battle, man. We're fighting a losing battle. We got to do battle. We got to step up and take the lead, man. We do, brother.
And that is
well,
so
I'm
true.
gonna before we sign off, I'm gonna say this. I think everybody, us three we're in the Kappa Psi fraternity. We have the Kappa League, and I'm sure every other fraternity has a high school mentor program. I don't care what color they are, but I know the Divine Nine does. That's included the lady sororities. Well, sororities itself says lady. They have that too, so that they can teach the young ladies how to be ladies and what to look forward to. It doesn't mean that you have to be college bound. It just means that you getting mentoring from 90% of the people you're talking to are already professionals out in the world, as these two gentlemen here are. You know, they're professionals. They have college degrees. They went out and did it. And we all are not from the suburbs.
No.
I'm from a military family. Okay, so we're not from the suburbs. So if we can do what we do, and I'm telling you right now, and I'm not braggatory, but these gentlemen here, these two gentlemen here, they do a lot in their communities and their churches, and they're touching a small amount because they only can. We all have to reach out and touch more. So hats off to all the young people out there that are helping give back, and especially to the Divine Nine and other white sororities and fraternities that have these programs to assist these young people to become successful. Because not everybody that's successful was born successful. Not everybody that, you know, their parents wasn't that. So with that being said, I'm gonna give a shout out to everybody out there. Be safe. Fathers and mothers, please take that time out sometimes. I know your day is hectic, but I can tell you, as the three of us sit here, when you get a little older and your kids are gone, you're going to miss that opportunity that you had to educate your children so they can have a better life than yours. It's not about being rich. It's about every generation being better than the past generation. That's evolution. And with that said, I'm going to say, hey, thanks everyone for tuning in to TAN TV, the African American Network. We have a local feel with global reach. You have Mr. Henry Pincher, Mr. Matthews Duck, Lionel Matthews Duck.
Terry, before we go, just make sure as we approach what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks to maybe 3 weeks, which is called graduation. A bunch of graduations are going to happen in colleges. And you're going to have a bunch of people that's going to be motivated and encouraged. I know Nashville has the Queen, which is Oprah Winfrey, coming to Tennessee State University, a place where she graduated from. And that's going to be good. And we're also going to have the council representative that was over the what was that? The Capitol in resurgence. The black guy, the councilman, got his name. He's also going to do one. Fisk University is going to have. Let me see if I can remember. Fisk University is not. Just look it up, but I know there's graduations coming, and there's going to be some good speeches, some good motivations. The kids are going to be fired up, but there's always going to be something that we can do to understand everybody.
Well, I like to give another shout out before we go to the other part on the show, Miss Laura. How you doing, Miss Laura? She's checking us out today. I'd like to say thank you. I know she put something out, but I can't read it. I don't see it. Do you guys see anything on your screen other than what we're typing? I don't see.
Yes, I see what she was talking. She was very appreciative about you telling them about the parents. Need to be more parents.
Okay.
Tell them to turn off the electronics, get them outside. We parents are not their friends. We could go on and on, she was saying.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we got it out there because, I mean, before we step out of here, I want everybody to know that no matter what we think, the children are our future. Just like back in the old days, I don't know what group said that, but the children are our future. And we got to make sure if you want to have it, I mean, I don't think any parent out there wants their children to fail. Sometimes we just have to make sure that we're there when we're tired and not fussing and cussing, just when we're there. So with that being said, fellas, hey, thank you guys for coming out, man, and hanging out with me. Appreciate you. Love you very much. You know, we're all in that same bond. And, man, I can't wait to see what we're going to do next week. We'll talk about that later. But on a personal note, young men, if you don't take care of yourself, you'll be going into the hospital like me tomorrow getting a pacemaker. So calm down and take care of yourself. It doesn't matter if you eat clean or all that. That stress will get to you, brother. So you gotta slow down. And remind so everyone out there that's listening and follows us later during the week and don't watch us live. Check us out next week on Sunday, 6 o'clock. Peak Standard Pacific Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and 8 o'clock in Central Time. And we'll be here. And I don't know exactly what we're going to talk about. We'll put it out on Facebook and Twitter by Friday so that you can tune in and check us out. With that being said, thanks everybody. God bless everybody. And fellas, hey, much love. All right. Talk to y'all later. Did you watch TAN TV, the African American Network with a local feel of global reach? And you was tuned in to Out of Bounds with T-Rex and the fellas. And I just want to say God bless you. And we'll see you next week. Same time, same station.
Yes, sir.